What is up, YouTube? It's OP08 here, coming at you with another deck, well, actually gameplay, for Red Purple Luffy. I mean, I played him last week and I really enjoyed him, so we've kept brewing. We're trying to improve the deck, and we're going to give you some gameplay right now. Let's jump into that. We've got our first game here. Let me remove this Luffy card. We've got our first game here against Reiju. Now, this has got to be a tough matchup for Red Purple Luffy. In fact, any aggro deck is a difficult matchup. So, what are we looking for? We're looking for our searchers. We want to take going away first from them. We want less swings. And then we want to dig for our 3-drop Zoro. We've talked about this in the last video. But here we go, 2x speed. It's going to be a quick game. He finds stage. I have Nami on 1. I get a dig for a 2k counter. Unfortunately, do not hit the Zoro. But I play another searcher and go ahead and swing face. Find a Kid. Kid's going to be great in this matchup. Buffing up my leader power on their turn makes it very difficult to swing into me. And then we're going to swing. We want to pressure his life. Make sure we can end this game at some point. He keeps staging, digging for his stuff. He hits an early TCG. And yeah, swings, we counter out of that. We're trying to stay healthy. We hit the Zoro here a little late. But yeah, we go Bonclay. I actually would have preferred if we dropped the Zoro though, even if we played it late. We could have basically done the same thing. It's just we have Zoro, and then we're going into our we would swing with Zoro and go into our 8 Dawn turn here. Bonclay is just a little bit better later. Zoro ends up getting more value, but it doesn't matter. It ends up getting us potentially more ramps, but it doesn't matter. We counter out with the Zoro, which is probably what we would have done with the Bonclay, and this Bonclay is actually threatening board here a little better, so maybe it wasn't too bad of a play. Looking at this, we ramp using Luffy to 9 Dawn, and this, I mean, this Newgate's looking juicy, the Kid's looking juicy. We go with Kid because I think it gives us a little bit better of a swing into his TCG. We want to get this off the board. We want to live, and we go ahead and swing 8 and 8. 9 and 8 would have been 9 and 7 would have been an interesting option, but that surely would have eaten a blocker and a 1k. So this way we got a 2k out of him. He replaces his stage, which you don't. Oh, he doesn't replace it. Sorry. He discards stage, digging farther. I counter out using Bonclay. I probably should have used the Zoro if we're being hyper specific here. He swings 5, which is just a mistake, and then swings 10. That's a guaranteed hit. I do not want to blow my hand to block a 10k swing. And we've got a great follow-up here. Newgate into swinging Kid makes us a 9k leader. I mean, this is just very difficult to deal with. I think about going face, and I do, because I mean, I'm a 9k leader. It's going to be very difficult to deal with me. I put him to 1, and he's got to swing 9s to try and kill me. And if he doesn't, he needs to deal with this board. He drops the Porsche, and he does find the baby Ichiji. And yeah, we're not feeling amazing about that. Because he's going to shrink Kid, and now he's got easy swings into it. And to make matters worse, he swings, well, you'll see. He goes ahead and swings 8, which is obviously a great break point. We've got to give him 2 cards if we want to save this Kid. I just don't think it's worth it. He now needs to invest all of his Dawn to swing if he wants to swing, and I get to stay very healthy, and I've got a Newgate on board. I can pop blockers with it if he drops that blocker chopper. I'm going to be able to threaten for game here. He does have 3, 6, 7 cards in hand, so it's very hard to go for game. That's up to 14k of counter. We go ahead and swing 12, pop his blocker that he dropped, and what is this? 3 2Ks? 2, 4, 6 puts us to 11. 4 2Ks gets him to 13. He takes it. So now I'm not like feeling amazing. So I end up dropping Law here. It strips cards out of his hand, and it puts a blocker on the board. So I'm not going to lose, and I also still ripped cards out of his hand like an attack would have done. And because I can ramp with Luffy, it puts me back to 5, which I can then play Queen with. So this is the very safe play that still rips cards out of his hand, because I'm going to swing with Luffy and puts 2 blockers on the board. He's going to have a very difficult time going for game, especially considering I have counter in my hand, and I'm going to filter here and have more counter. Yep, I just dump a non-counter, and I've got 2, 4, 5, 6k counter, 2 blockers, and I'm a 6k leader. He swings 8, I just block with 5, swings 8. I think here for a little bit, because you got to weigh out whether or not giving the blocker is the most advantageous play here. I kind of think I should counter out first and force more swings. So, and that is what I go with. Counter out 9k, 2k, 1k, and we'll see what he does from here. He uses stage, ditching Reiju, swings 6 into 6, 1k counter that, 6 into 6. I can counter. You might not want to counter there though, because he could go baby TCG and then drop a 7k rusher on me and potentially go for game. So, because he could go 6, drop TCG, that either eats the card out of my hand, and well, it eats the card, or it pops it if I don't have a 2k. So, because he'd swing 7 and then have 2 Dawn left over, just be able to swing 7 again, potentially ending the game. He's at 0 life though. I'm fairly confident that if we can get to this next turn, we're going to win. Swings 8, and thankfully that is not going to be enough. I think about going Newgate Luffy, drop 10 drop Luffy, but obviously that's overkill. He is not going to have enough counter, so I just attach all my Dawn, and that is game. A very good game to my opponent. Let's jump into the next one. Here we go. Alright, we are playing against Kalgara. Again, another very aggressive deck. Let's see how this goes. These are going to be the harder matchups for Luffy, because anything that goes slower lets you ramp, and as you saw in the previous Luffy video, 10 drop Luffy is just a game breaker, destroys slow decks. I mean, in one turn you're already back to 9 Dawn. So yeah. Anyways, I swing 6, which is potentially a mistake into Kalgara because they have triggers. I think this recording started a little late, so I mulliganed for the 3 drop Zoro. I hit it, and then I go ahead and 1-3 play Zoro on 3, and then swing 6 with Luffy. Not in that order. I swing 6 first, and then drop the Zoro because I'm afraid of triggers. And he does hit one, which means I am under extra pressure this game. He swings, I block, block, block. He does have 6 cards in hand. I kind of wish I blocked with the Zoro instead of the Law. The Law is a blocker, as well as potentially threatening his hand size, which is huge. But I do swing 5 into his Satori, and then I swing 8. Bong play, Zoro ramping 2 there, putting me in a position to go to 9 Dawn, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 Dawn next turn, so 10 with leader ability. And this game, I kind of do something slightly unorthodox. You'll see. He swings. I just counter out of everything. I do not want to give him any life when I do not have to, especially when I'm going to be able to control board here. He's got 2 bodies. I've got 2 swings. Hopefully this will deal. But yeah, first things first, let's just activate leader ability. It's a free Dawn. And then swing. He's down to 5 cards. He counters out. I swing 7 using the Wiper's base attack. And he uses the Earth Won't Lose. And then I just drop Gear 5 Luffy on 10 after using leader ability, so I do not get to ramp the Dawn. So this sets me back effectively a turn and a half doing it this way. But what it does let me do is remove board. And that is all I care about in this moment. I do think the Lin is a very viable route here too. It will remove 1 body and give me a life, which effectively removes 2 bodies in some sense. But this route lets me clear board for sure. And yeah, so we take our extra turn. We ramp to 3 Dawn using the 10-drop Luffy ability. And then we swing 7 into Satori, and he's been countering very aggressively. No Dawn up, meaning no events. And we clear board here. And we're all the way down to 3 Dawn. So next turn we're going to 5 Dawn. But again, we're a 6k leader. He's got 2 swings. I still have 3 life. I don't feel in a bad position. And he does something crazy unorthodox. Just swings 15 into my Luffy, effectively time walking himself. Yeah, so I'm just gonna swing 7, drop Zoro, leave up this Radical Beam, and I feel in a good spot still. He has no board, he has 2 life. I have more life than him, and just about as many cards. I'm down a few cards, but yeah, swings 8, drops Kalgara. I'm not happy to see that Kalgara, and he follows up with the Norland, which is definitely a big nail in the coffin. This is the bread and butter for that deck, but yeah, I go down to 2 life so I can get the 2k buff on Radical Beam and counter out of the Wiper swing easily. I ramp using Zoro and then ramp with Luffy to put me to 9. And now I get a Lin, get rid of this Kalgara, no more Norland nonsense, and I gain a life, making me very healthy again. And I just get to keep pressuring life, no problem. Being a 6k leader, he's got to use 2ks. Swings 10 into life. I have to take that. 10 is an odd number. And then I hit a trigger. This is a card I'm testing out, the Lead Performer Disaster. It is not searchable with any of our methods, but it is a great 4-drop play. It replaces itself and ramps, both things that we want to do. Honestly, fantastic budget option for Bond Clay. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So he swings, I counter out. Nothing really to think there. Just stay healthy. I take this one because I do kind of want to see cards. And he plays Ace. I'm not sure if he thought he had Rush, but he does not. He's at 3 life, so. Anyways, yeah, we're going to swing, try and control board. Swinging 9 into 7 felt a little risky because he would have to, he could 2k 1k out of this, but I mean, I take a peek at his trash, and he's used, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2k counters already, and we're not that deep into this game. So I felt fairly good about that swing, and if he counters out, he goes down to 0 cards, and then the rest of my swings are free, guaranteeing me wiping this board. Yeah, so then 6 into 6. If he counters out, I'm very happy because I'm just going to crash Zoro into him. And hope he doesn't have another counter. Again, going down to 0 cards though, and I'm going to drop a blocker and have Radical Beam, so I didn't feel that threatened yet. He's got 3 life. I've developed a board. Starting to feel really good. He swings 10. I can't counter out of that unless I give Radical Beam and the Bond Clay, which I think that's what I'm thinking about right now. and I think it's a good play. It's a safe play. If he Zoros me, I actually lose, so maybe that isn't a good play. Yeah, I just give him the blocker, which makes sense. I think it's a little bit safer. And then he goes 11 into me, and then I have to go to 0 life, which is a little sketchy. Yeah, I don't like that play at all, actually. I think I should have risked the second ace over going to 0, because now I got to block her up or kill him. And it looks like we're going for the kill him route. We can do 7, 7, 7, 9. Maybe we can do 10. Yeah, and then he Earth Won't loses this first one. Then we go 7. 7, he can't use an event here, so it's got to be 2k, 1k. Doesn't have it, and then we go ahead and swing 10, which he's got to have 3 2ks to deal with. And he does not. He actually had a brick in hand, making these swings perfect for me and giving us the game. Yes, Kalgara, very difficult matchup there, very aggressive, but Gear 5 Luffy is not only good in the longer game, it's fantastic in the short game as well. And I've got one more aggressive deck to show you. We're going to play into Yamato. And this matchup is a nightmare. Because, well, first off, my opponent goes first. And my opponent is going to be able to swing 8 on turn 3. So I've got to give him 2 cards or go down to 1 life, which is a nightmare. And then all of his triggers are live. Kikinojo, any of the other, are they Sky Island? I can't quite remember. I turn 1 Searcher into a kid, and I'm looking at my hand, and I have 4 bricks. This is not looking good, and I had to take the 2. I'm down to 1, and we're two turns deep into this game, and I am at 1 life. This is a disaster. Drop Zoro. Favoring Zoro over Bond Clay. The swing into life was definitely very risky into Yamato, because him dropping a body off that is for sure game. But yeah, we just decided not to worry about it. He swings 10, I take it, because guess what? I'm going to block her up. I got the cards to do it. So let's swing Zoro, ramp up, threaten life. Swing, swing. And then we're going to drop that. Beautiful. I think about Sanji because I'm worried about the card that taps down your blockers. But I realize he's got to commit multiple cards to do that. And I would be able to counter out of, a fairly big swing. I have some good counter. And then he plays 2 removal spells, or events that I have never seen in my life out of green. And I'm not feeling good. I didn't realize I needed to play around that, but I do have a Lin, so I'm going to be able to go to 1. I don't need to worry about blocking up. I'm going to discard these non-blocks and develop a big body, and then continue to swing pressure life. Yeah, feeling in a good position here. Drops a Shirahoshi, 2 of them, and then another blocker, Diamante. And I'm like, well, also, I was experimenting with this 9-drop Kaido. I know that you cannot Luffy ability after you minus that much Dawn. But honestly, 9-drop Kaido is a game winner. So I just thought it would be a nice one-of. And then I swing 9, he takes. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Why would you take? And then I'm like, alright, I'm going to Kaido here. Pop your blocker. And then you either give me cards or you go to 0. Swing 7. It's crazy. He doesn't block at all here. And I'm a little confused. Goes to 0. I've got three potentially massive swings. Don't see how I'm losing this game. And yeah. Just waiting for our opponent. I think they're trying to figure out if they have a way to win this. He goes 9, which is two 2Ks for me. But I just take it. I have the counter. I just simply choose to take it and see what he has. The only thing I could think of is a rush ace, or some other yellow rush card. And I didn't think that was going to be enough, so I 1K out of this, and that's game. Yeah, so let's take a look at our list. Here we go. So this is the latest and greatest version of Red Purple Luffy for me. We are on the 4 Nami and 3. When you're at sea, you fight pirates. This is a Straw Hat Crew, Kid Pirate, and Heart Pirate Searcher. Top 3, but it's still very powerful. It lets you search for 3 different types of cards, which make up your entire deck. So it's just a very strong card. So we've got 7 searchers, which I really like. It lets me find everything, and I'm on Kid, which is a huge mid-game play for us, as well as Law, very oppressive purple card, punishing our opponent if they take life a little too early, which is 6K leader swinging at you all the time definitely incentivizes. I've got the 4 Newgate. I bumped this up. This card is just insane. Being able to go to a 9K leader after going Kid, Newgate, it's just really hard for an opponent to deal with that. That's why BY Luffy is crazy. Being able to be a 9K leader consistently, as well as putting up multiple blockers, makes that deck a menace. I've got 1 Shanks. I like it. I like 10 drops and 9 drops in this deck. I don't like 8 drops because when you go to 8 Dawn, you're going to leader ability, and that means you're either going to be on your 9 Dawn curve or your 10 Dawn curve when you're leader ability. So you don't need 8 drops, in my opinion. Yeah. We're on 4 Bond Clay. I mean, it's just a purple staple at this point. The 4 Zoro, this is what makes this deck super viable. Without this card, and that is why we're on 7 searchers, borderline thinking about going to 8. But you need counter, and it's difficult. I think maybe with OP09 and some of the support from the purple starter deck that's coming out here soon, this deck could be improved a little bit. I do think that the 7 drop Newgate from the starter deck is a little bit of a bait. I don't think the card is incredible in this deck. You don't have a ton of minus. So anyways, I got sidetracked here. We're on 2 Luffy because you have 7 searchers. You do want to see this card every game, but you only need to see it when you're at 10 Dawn and above, which is after you've drawn lots of cards and gone through lots of searchers. So if you don't hit Luffy, that is very unlucky. I like it at 3, but it's just hard to justify the room in this. I could see cutting this Kaido and going back to 3 Luffy. The Kaido was a fun thought experiment, and it definitely won me games. But the drawback of losing 5 Dawn and not being able to leader ability is pretty hefty. Yeah, so you're definitely going to have to weigh that out for yourself. Lin is an MVP for me. Life gain in purple is just insane. You're dropping big bodies, removing board, trashing non-counter, which you played plenty of. Like, it's almost everything you want to do. And gaining life is like drawing a card, because eventually you're going to get that card back if they're not on a banish attacker. So yeah, Lin, it's not searchable, but it's a fantastic card. For Sanji, again, just solid, doesn't even need to be talked about. The -3 comes up all the time because, I mean, the dream is turn 10 Luffy, Take your extra turn, drop Sanji. Now you're protected and you've swung twice, 3 times. 7k twice with your leader at least. And then 12 with Luffy, which is going to remove a lot of boards or cost your opponent a lot of cards, and both of those are good for you. Triple Queen, I mean, the absolute filter blocker of purple, staple, amazing. I just used buzzwords right there, but I mean, it's an amazing card. Kid's amazing. Radical Beam until we get Gum Gum. Giant triple Jet Gatling. It is searchable off of Nami, and when you're at sea you fight pirates. And then 2 lead performer disaster. This card is actually really solid. It's kind of everything you want in an early game play, and it puts you up to 10 ways to ramp, which is a great number. You're going to see 1 out of 5, right? So you should see a ramp piece in your opening hand, which is going to guarantee that you play on curve a lot of the time. So yeah, that is Red Purple Luffy. If you liked the games and you want to see more, let me know in the comments. Till next time, hit that subscribe button, like, comment, you know all that. Alright, maybe you don't, but yeah, that's OP Koa signing off. Peace.